So I thought just before we start off into our agenda, let's do a little poll just to gauge how everybody's feeling as you're getting ready for taking office on July 1st. So you should be seeing a poll on your screen. If you can click an answer there, let us know how you're feeling. It's an anonymous poll, by the way. I'll give you a minute to click in your answers there. I'm going to hope that none of you select the bottom answer on the poll. Okay, so we've got about 2/3 of us said we're feeling mostly prepared, a few more things to do between now and July 1st. About a quarter of us feeling well prepared and confident. That's great to hear. Glad you're ready to go. And a little nervous, hoping you can remember what all we have been learning since we started all of this back in September on our journey together to learn from each other and get ourselves prepared to lead our clubs. So thanks. On our agenda this evening, we have, first of all, hopefully it's not a surprise to you, we have a deadline coming up right away, June 15th, for district grant applications. So Naomi and Patty are here to go over that with us. Then I'd like to spend a little time going over our district priorities and goals for the year, and then talk a bit about club goals and where we are with getting our club goals socialized in our clubs and also entered into Rotary Club Central. And Naomi will also be helping follow that up. I also want to talk a bit about club awards. I think we had some confusion about club awards this year, so hopefully I can help clarify and set some expectations for the coming year. And then check in where we are on our club action planning. Benson is our district action planning champion, and he's here as well. And then leaving time for us to be able to ask some questions of each other if there are things you're still trying to figure out or that you've forgotten how to do, or you just want to know how others are approaching something in their clubs. So we have some discussion time. So let's get started. And with that, Naomi and Patty, I'll hand it over to you.
Naomi, we can't hear you.
Okay, so we're going to start with the application that is due on June 15th. And we do have a policy manual for foundation, and the grant application is June 15th because we need to get that in July so that some of the clubs who need the money early will be able to get the funds, the grant funds, to use it when they need it. So this is where you find your application and the allocation. You go to the district website. When you hover on this arrow, this menu comes up, then hover on this arrow, and then this menu comes up, and then you hover on that arrow, and then you get to the district grant information. So the district grant information page is where you're going to find the application and the allocation form. So this is that page, and I have a QR code. If you want to take a picture of the QR code, it'll take you straight to this page. So this QR code will take you to this site page, which the URL, the address is this one. So here in the side margin, you'll find the allocation spreadsheet which tells you how much you have for district grants and global grants. And the application is downloadable right there. Okay, so this is where you can get all the information. And Patty will go through how to fill out that application. But let me tell you where the money comes from. So when your club members give money to the Rotary Foundation to the annual share account, that money comes back to the district. And then we divide that money to the clubs for you to decide how you want to use it for your grants. So that money that you donate, that your members donate, half of it will go to the global grants, half to the district designated fund. So the question on what is DDF? District designated fund. So that's the amount that we get for our district grants and the global grants. So it's not 100% because Rotary does take 5% for admin. Okay. But this is where the money comes from. So encourage the donations to the foundation. And when you get that check, the grant check, please present it and say, hey, this is the money that you donated to the foundation. It's coming back to our club so we can use it for projects. Okay, so 3 years, right? So 3 years ago, our donations from the district was $263,969. That's the amount. We get Rotary takes a 5% admin fee. Then the rest of it gets divided, half to the Rotary Foundation to the Rural Fund and half to DDF, District Designated Fund. So that half was 125,385 to you, to your clubs. Okay, so this is how it was divided. The district has a policy that the amount that we get, the pool, we're going to divide it. So 20% of that, so 50% went to global grants, right? So that other 50% is going to be divided by match and no match. Match, meaning you put in club cash to match that amount to be able to use it. No match, you just use it without putting in club cash. So the 50% that we got for the 47.5% that we got for DDF. This is how it was broken down: 24,000 to no match, 36,000 match, and then 62,000 for the global grants. Okay, so when the clubs put in the cash to match, so you got 36,000. We had to match this one, right? So the clubs put in 36,000. Okay, for global grants, you need to match that amount. So cash from clubs to match the global grant. And then the World Fund puts another 80% of the global grant funds in. So our money, the 125,000 now becomes $272,000 that we have for our district grants and the global grant. Isn't that awesome? So that's why Mark Harbison really liked global grants, because he wants that money from the World Fund because we get extra money. Okay, so here's the application. And Patty, how do you fill out the application?
Thank you, Naomi. Good evening, everyone. This is a fairly simple grant application. It's just maybe sometimes we want to read carefully every line. Part of my business in real life is to write grants. And I have to say that the essence is to be simple and straightforward. Don't try to embellish. Just explain what you are doing. So you'll see up here, this is just the information, the basic information, contact information. Here's project activity, which really is a little bit of a description, but more so, what categories are we fitting into? And then finally, this is where you can use some of your writing skills. But again, I think keeping it simple, keeping it direct is the important part. So you'll see in this sample, we will be providing dictionaries to third graders at Honolulu Elementary School. And that's it. I mean, that says what is happening, and it's again very direct. The next. Okay.
Sorry.
I was just going to say the next section is the who, what, and where. Where are you doing it? What is the club? What are the club members going to be involved in? What is their involvement? Students will benefit. I think this is an important part of it. The impact. why are we doing it? It's kind of the who, what, where, why. And then, and how will it be publicized? So again, as you can see, these are all basically one-line responses. So, don't keep it simple. Here is your budgeting, your cost, your anticipated costs. And then and then that's it. Right, Naomi?
Okay. Did Jerry have a question? Jerry? No? Okay. I wanted to add that, when we take all of the information from your applications, we have to put it into a big spreadsheet and send it to Rotary International. And then they go line by line to make sure the purpose of the grant is within what the rules are for Rotary International. So that's why in the project description, if you could please, in the first sentence, say briefly, what is your project? Because that's what we're going to put into the Rotary application. If we have to go read through your whole thing and figure out what you're doing, it takes a little longer. And last year we had over 100 applications because some clubs have, like Jerry's club, you guys have like 5, 7 applications, 10 applications. So please help us by just putting a brief description so we can put that into the application really quickly. Okay, second page.
And I see Rick has a question.
Yeah, I have a question. Wow, this is so nice to see. I didn't realize it was that simple. Every time I talk to someone about global grant, I feel like I get totally confused. The only thing so far that I understand is that I'm told that the project has to be $30,000. And so, I do have a few projects that I wanted to do, but I guess I could talk more about this offline because I've been working on it. And I have to be honest with you guys, it's kind of like been very disappointing for me because I've been doing a lot of international projects that I would love to do in global grant. But maybe I can just send you guys more information and I can get more information about it later. But thank you for this information.
Well, Rick, we are having a webinar on global grants later on with the International Service Team. So that's where they can help you with understanding the process.
Yeah, but I need to get something out to you guys by the 15th.
Well, no. Well, okay. So district grants are for local projects. You can use district grants for international project, but it's not the same rules as a global project. So I understand. I think I saw one of the Maui clubs put in their district grant application already for one of your projects. And so it was only their amount, which was only a couple $1,000s.
Correct. The 15 is district grant, not global grant. Okay, got it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Great, you're welcome. Okay, I'm going to go to now page 2 of the application. And you see these big arrows here. This is the allocation amounts, right? And Naomi was just talking about match and no match, no match and matched. And this is where they correlate. This is where the numbers go from this report onto the application. Okay, so you'll have to refer to this report that's on the website if you don't have a copy yet, and then put those numbers into your grant application. Okay. Okay. So then, you'll do your calculation, add in anything else, and you'll have your total project budget, and then the total funds to be requested. And then project reporting, we're going to go through fairly quickly towards the end, but I like this form because it's both the application and the reporting, the project reporting. Any questions? Next. Oh, next.
Were there? Oh, Hugh has a question.
Hugh. Go ahead, Hugh. Except you're muted.
I think you should amend your form so the total amount actually matches the total budget. So the cash the club is putting in is actually more than 1652 because 4405 does not equal 4500. 4405 does not equal 4500. So total cash from the club needs to
I
be
see.
DDS match plus extra.
Okay, so on the first page where you have the budget, it
Yeah.
was for
$4,500.
4,500.
Go to the
So
next
that,
page.
so
Go to the
your
next-
budget could be more than what you're getting.
Yeah, go to the next page. The next page is 40. The total amount you're asking, you're looking there is 4,405. That's not 4,500. The cash
Right.
from the club needs to be DDF match plus the additional cash to get you to 4,500.
Yes.
Right. So amend the form.
Okay, you're right. You're right. It should balance.
We're 95 off.
Yep.
Thank
Copy
you.
all.
Yay. Okay, you get a prize, Hugh.
Anything else?
But you know where it says club or organization, the district is putting money in your grant account. So you just need to put your club's name. You don't need to put district on or 5,000 or foundation in the club or organization in the project funding portion. Okay, so just put your club name. Okay. So okay, Patty, next page.
Yeah, I think so. Okay, and here's some rules we want to go through. They're important to kind of understand as you put together your grant application. Unrestricted cash donations cannot be funded to a beneficiary or cooperating organization. And then the second bullet here, continuous or excessive support of any one entity, one beneficiary. This is all things that cannot be funded. Purchase of land or buildings, fundraising expenses, fundraising activities, expenses related to Rotary events, whether it's district conference, institutes, entertainment activities, public relations initiatives, unless they are essential to carrying out your project. Project signs that cost more than $1,000. Operating, administrative, or indirect program expenses of another organization. And then finally, activities for which the cost has already been incurred. So timing is important here. Any questions on this? Okay. I mentioned the final reports. They are due 2 months after the project completion, but no later than May 31st. Right, so don't forget about those project reports. And they need to have accompanying documentation, in our case, receipts. You know, how you expended the money. And so let's see. Is there anything else I should cover there, Naomi? I think it's okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah.
No. Oh.
Oh, question?
Yeah. Is there, I thought I saw something about a disbursement form.
Yes.
What's that used for?
So for documentation on your club side, you need to use that voucher that was it's on the district website. So when you is to document the disbursement of the item. So that you should keep in your records. You don't need to send that to the district.
Okay.
But if you're audited, you need to have those.
And there's that sample that is on the website.
Yep.
Here's the timeline for this coming Rotary year. So last fall, 2 members should have attended grant management training. And then as of January 31 this year, the 3 qualifying documents, that MOU addendum and the financial plan, along with a confirmation of our federal tax return and and GET for the year ending June 30, 2023, should all have been, because now it's in the past, should all have been submitted no later.
This rugged land. The celebration of a bygone era is a ripping, roaring good time and quality entertainment for all ages. A must-do and catch you can.
We're
Thanks,
getting some
Nathan.
background noise. Can you check
Um,
that you're muted?
Nathan.
And here's a detail that I think could hang up some people. If there is no president nominee, the current president can sign. So we need to get those in. May 31st, the final grant report should have been submitted by this year's team. And then this is the deadline that we're all coming up on, fast approaching. It's Saturday, which is the June 15th grant application deadline for this coming Rotary year. So we went through the application just now, and that's what has to be filled out and submitted by this Saturday. In turn, the district submits the grant to RI for approval on July 15th. And then by August, we will have the funds to disperse. Keep this timeline in mind as you plan your activities, because that's, when the cash flow for your grant projects are. Is there any question on this?
Hugh has a question.
Yes.
I have a question. In the past, before you distributed grant funds for clubs, you needed to see evidence that we had funded our grants account with the amounts we needed to put in. You still want that?
Yes. So if you can put that in July, their cash portion of the grant, then when at the end of the month, when you get your statement from the bank, that's where you can give us the copy of the statement from the bank that shows that your cash portion is in. And once we see that money is deposited in the grant account, the club's grant account, we will deposit the money to that account. That's why we need to see the title of the account number, and so we get it into the right bank for you. But if you can do that in July, that's awesome. And there was a question about what happens if you don't get your application in. So we have that date because some clubs need the money early. Because, for instance, Lahaina, 1 year, they needed money for the band equipment and before school started. So the clubs that need it early, get your application in. If you miss that deadline, it's going to be the next round. So you're not going to get your money until maybe September, October. So just keep that in mind, that we are flexible. You're not excluded, if you miss that deadline. We're just going to try and work it out. And Kara has a question.
Yes, so this is regarding a grant that I got for Nepal. It was for the $1,000. Okay, so Arlene said all I have to do is turn in a completed application form along with the receipts. I have the receipts, but I saw the other application where it had the little red X's. Do I just print up what I submitted and just mark it complete? Is that what that means?
Yes, so you're gonna, mark it complete, but over here where it says final cost, complete that too, to make sure that the amounts were the same.
Okay, thank you so much.
I'm glad you got that money out to Nepal. Thank you.
Yeah, they're so excited. I can't. Oh yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions or clarification? All right. I just wanted to remind everyone that the documents are emailed to grants@rotary.org. Yeah, rotary-d5000.org down at the bottom. Okay. Now, something that we should not only take pride in, but it is very important not only to our donors, funders, and members, but I think to the community as well, which is that Charity Navigator has awarded 4-star rating to the Rotary Foundation for years, for 15 consecutive years, I guess. And that 91% of the funds that are raised are spent on program awards and operations. So we can be assured that not only our money, but our donors' monies, our members' money is being spent well. Stewardship is a real popular word in my neck of the woods. And I like this description, which is responsible management and oversight of grant funds. You know, we want to make sure that the purpose for which we are requesting the funds is what we're spending them on. And so to make sure that this happens and that we are truly benefiting the populations in need, we need to, supervise projects, see it in the MOU, those guidelines, implement the projects as they are approved. You know, sometimes when we run out of time, there's a tendency to maybe take a few shortcuts. But, if we wrote something that we were going to do, we want to make sure we are going to do it and follow what we stated in our applications. Report irregularities, submit reports, and then retain the documents, 5 years of soft and hard copy. Okay, so it's important that likewise, the financial management of district grants are very important. So all DDF funds received will be immediately deposited into the district grants account and dispersed only to fund district grants. So keeping it as clean as possible is important. For district grant projects in which the club is contributing cash to the project, the club will transfer contributed cash to the DG account. This is what you were asking, I believe, Hugh. And then pay for project-related expenses only from this account. So don't commingle, don't make it messy.
Question, Aaron. You say here that club contributing cash to the project, the club will transfer the contributed cash to the district grant account? No, it goes to my club grant account.
Oh,
surely. If I'm gonna pay,
yeah.
I'm gonna pay money to a grant, it's got to come out of my account, not the district grant account.
But in my club, that account for my club is called the district grant account, only because it is a district grant. That's all.
I appreciate that, but I think that's confusing because if you're telling us we have to supply it to the district grant account, that suggests we send it to District 5000.
It does suggest that. Yeah. There you go.
I think part of the point is that the clubs must have a grants account.
Correct.
And many of their accounts are their own bank accounts, but they're separate from the operating accounts of the clubs. So whatever way you choose to have a grant account, I think is okay. Isn't that right, Patty and Naomi?
Yes, yes. But thank you for the clarification, Hugh, and thank you for the correction or update, Naomi. This is for global grants now. And this is a club commitment form. I'm a little bit choking, excuse me.
So we'll cover this later. This is due November 1st, but just wanted to let you know there is a form to pledge for global grants.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
So this is a list of upcoming opportunities, webinars that we can attend to keep on learning. Here's the October 12th Global Grants. I think that Naomi was referring to, but here's the pretty comprehensive list. And here are key takeaways. So use of grant funds, used for the purpose that we described in our application. I'm sorry, Susan, did you have a question?
Yeah, just a quick question about the pledging for a global grant. What does that actually mean?
So you have an allocation for global grants, and the club matches it, you can apply that amount to a global grant. It could be one that the district has or one that another district has. But the pledge is saying your global grants don't happen right away. So you're going to pledge your money and your DDF to that grant, and that grant can count you in on their funding list that they're going to get money from you. So we'll explain that a little later, but the pledge is saying that you're pledging your DDF and your club's cash to a certain global grant. So when we have that global grant project fair, you can see what grants that are up that are going to happen, and then you can pledge your money to one of those. You pick which one your money goes to.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Thanks. I'm gonna second bullet, don't spend the project funds until the grant funds are in the account. Use your funds by May 31 at the latest and return funds to the district if not used. Disbursements must be authorized by 2 people, and that I think can either be via voucher or 2 signatures on a grant check. Cannot carry over the district grant funds for another year to another year. Complete the qualification checklist of those documents by January 31. Maintain a separate grant account we were just talking about, and keep the documents for 5 years. There's a suggestion here to store them in Club Runner's document storage box. Questions? And thank you. Are there any questions? Super.
Looks like we've covered it.
Okay.
Thank you, Patty and Nomi. That took a little longer than we planned, so we'll speed up some other of our action items for this evening, but seems like that was time well spent. So let's just kind of check in with another poll of what's your status for your club on district grant applications? Have you completed it already? You're working on it? Still have to get started? So we're a little less than half have completed and almost half still working on it. 10% still have to get started. So you have between now and June 15th. Okay, hopefully that was helpful, that we went through those items for our deadline coming up. So next on our agenda was to talk a little bit about our district priorities for the coming year. And some of this comes to us from Rotary International. Some of it comes on our own. First of all, let's talk about membership. We have some pretty aggressive stretch goals for membership in the coming year. These actually came top down from our incoming RI president, Stephanie Yurchik. And that is that she's asked all of our districts around the world to add 100 net new members. So given that we currently have 50 clubs, that would imply adding 2 new members per each of our 50 clubs. That's a stretch over where we have been in recent years. Now, alongside that, though, she's also asked each of our districts to form a number of new clubs. And by new clubs, that means any kind of club type. It can be a satellite club, a companion club, a Rotaract club, a cause-based club, and those kinds of companion type clubs can be formed starting with 8 members, or it can be a traditional Rotary club, but a traditional Rotary club requires 20 members to get started. So our aggressive stretch goal for new clubs in the coming year are 10 new clubs across our district. So that combination of attracting new members to our clubs, keeping the members in our clubs and forming new clubs, hopefully is going to have all of our goals adding up to 100 new members. And this is really going to be something that we all have to pitch in and help each other and keep checking status with each other, sharing our action plans with each other around membership, seeing what kinds of innovative things you're trying and what's working and what's not working. So the rest of us can copy and steal the things that are working from each other. But this will be an ongoing priority for us through the year of how are we doing with regard to our membership goals? And as we add up across all of our 50 clubs, are we moving in the direction that we need to move? And I'll be asking our assistant governors to be checking that with you as they meet with you on a regular basis. In the area of the Rotary Foundation that we just talked about, this money from our district grant allocations comes from our donations to the Rotary Foundation over the past 3 years in a rolling average. So for the Rotary Foundation, we have a couple of key things that our foundation committee will be working on. And you'll recall Dave Mosdrin from that committee came and spoke with us back last November. So they'll be working on an 18-month-long campaign for Rotary Foundation 2025. And our overall goal there is across all of our membership in District 5000 is to generate $1 million in donations to the Rotary Foundation. And we have a good basis for doing that. We have a strong district with regard to donations. We have some large donors and some that I know are planning to do some more donations in the coming year. But we also want to recognize and reward people who are regular donors at any amount. If you go and set up Rotary Direct for $10 a month, that's 2 cups of Starbucks coffee a month. You have it automatically charged to your credit card. You're probably not even going to really notice it, but that makes you a sustaining supporter of our Rotary Foundation. So we want to encourage everybody, no matter, or if it's $5 a month, whatever the amount is, let's encourage our members to be regular donors. We love our major donors and we want to recognize and thank them, but we also want to recognize and thank people for being regular donors to the foundation. So I ask for all of your help in that and our assistant governors as well. In the public image area, you'll remember back last October, Josh Laguana came and spoke with us about public image. In the meantime, our zones, District 5000 is part of zones 26 and 27, you'll recall. That makes up the Western United States and part of Western Canada. Our zones have come up with a way to provide some public image grants. Well, they're actually marketing campaign grants for the coming year, and it's a matching grant of $3,000. So we will also be investing in a district-wide marketing campaign. It'll be a multimedia campaign with television, print, social media, and the objective of that is also to generate a sales funnel, and to use marketing terms, and to nurture that sales funnel into member leads for each of our clubs out of that. So that will be some umbrella marketing campaign going on to benefit all of the clubs in the district. So those are some key areas. We'll also be reviving in our district an environmental services committee. I believe we had one a few years back and it kind of faded away. But Jacob Roberts from the Eco Club of Kaka'ako has agreed to lead that for us. So I'd like to ask you to think about in your club, if you don't already, think about somebody to be the champion for environmental service projects in your club. What are some things that your club might do to help conserve our environment, whether it's partner with somebody to do a beach cleanup, or it's help with a recycling effort, make some more Genki balls and throw them in a local water source on your island, whatever makes sense for you, but put on your thinking caps and see, is there something your club could do in terms of environmental conservation? And if you don't have ideas, reach out to Jacob. He'll be very happy to help you. And if you have somebody in your club who's enthusiastic about that, wants to lead environmental service, then let's get them connected also with Jacob to share ideas and best practices across all of our clubs. Related to that, you'll recall a few years ago, if you were around, we had some days of service that were district-wide days of service. And that year we did 4. Sandy Matsui was our district governor. I'm going to ask us this year to do at least 2, and to do 1 in the fall, which most of our clubs already do, which will be focused on education. So in the month of September, if you can try to schedule one of your education projects for your club, so that we're doing this all together across our clubs, across the whole state, and we can really show our impact in social media, traditional media, of how Rotary is supporting and having an impact on education and young people in the state of Hawaii. The second day of service would be in the spring, which we've traditionally done for several years now, in the month of April, if each club can work either individually or get together with another club and do an environmental service project with the same goal, that if we all do that kind of a project in that month, we can show that we're having a big impact on environmental conservation across our state and enhance our public image in that area as well. The reason I chose those 2 areas to ask us to all work together, all 50 of us, is 1, education, of course, gets us engaged and visible with young families in our communities. Many of us are already doing education projects in September anyway, but if we can do some collaboration and really publicize that, we should get some more visibility and interest from the community. Same with environment. That's an area of interest, particularly to people in their 30s and 40s in terms of age range. So it may be an opportunity to partner with an organization in your community, for younger people in your community to see Rotary doing something about the environment, and an opportunity for them to ask questions and to learn more about what is this Rotary thing that we're all part of. So there's a hidden agenda in those days of service. Yes, we want to have an impact, but we also want to enhance our public image, and we want to expand our reach. And you, of course, have those words burned into your memory by now of impact, reach, adapt, and engage, right? So those are a few things that I wanted to highlight.
Ted, you gotta
Yep.
remember irresistible. Don't forget Aries. Yep, there you go. I wanted you to not forget that. Okay, thanks.
And of course, we're all going to be irresistible this year in our clubs. So any questions about those as our overarching priorities district-wide? No, good. Okay, so I will.
There's 2 questions in the chat.
Oh, Caroline, do we have a date in September? I didn't set a specific date, but if in the last couple of weeks of September, if in particular, but anytime during the month of September that works for your club. And Kara, RCK is saving the wreath and would like to collaborate with other clubs.
Yes.
So if you're interested on Oahu to helping save the reef, here's an opportunity to collaborate with Kara. Thank you.
You're
That's
welcome.
excellent. Super. And our assistant governors, also asking you to keep these priorities in mind and checking in with the presidents as you have regular meetings with them during the coming year as well. And I'll put this also in writing back to everybody, but I just wanted to talk about it a little bit this evening. So that leads to, of course, we've all been working on our club goals that are also organized in our Rotary Club Action Plan categories. And hopefully you've had a chance to think about goals, have a discussion with your board about goals. In some cases, maybe have the discussion with your whole club about goals. If you haven't yet, sometime soon after July 1st, I would encourage you to have that discussion with your whole club around goals and making sure that you have the buy-in of your members, that those are the things you're planning to work on together, and that for each of your goals, you have some action plans. So if you have a membership goal to have a net positive growth of 2 members at the end of the year, then what are the actions that you guys are going to take in order to get that result? Because of course, you're going to have to bring in enough new members to backfill attrition, plus have the net positive 2. So are you going to do something different in the community that you haven't done before? Are you going to hand out flyers at your service projects? What are you going to have an open house social event and invite the public? Whatever your action plan is to attract new members and also to retain your members, you want to have some discussion about that at your board level and at your club level, so that everybody's engaged and that we're all paddling the canoe in the same direction. For club goals, we will be checking, I just warn you now, we will be checking that you have club goals entered into Rotary Club Central. And those of you who don't, or maybe look incomplete, you will be getting a call or an email or some communication offering to help you get those goals into Rotary Club Central. This is a requirement. It's not a suggestion, not an option, but each club does need to have some goals in Rotary Club Central. There's a lot of flexibility around that. If you're a very small club, you only want to have 1 or 2 goals. You need to just focus on 1 or 2 things the coming year. That's fine. If you're a large club, though, we're probably going to be looking at you having a much larger set of goals, because you just have a lot more people and resources to work on those goals. And then, of course, a lot of us will be in between those 2 extremes. So please, if you don't already, please get those club goals into the system prior to July 1st. And double check that you have club action plans to back up those goals. Again, have that conversation with your board, with your club, to make sure that we have those action plans in place. And Benson Medina, who's on the call, is our district action plan champion. So if you have any questions at all, if you want some help, if you want Benson to get on a Zoom with you and facilitate some action planning with your group, I'm sure he's happy to do that. Rick, I see you have a question.
Yes, I do. The Rotary Club Center, is that on the District 5000 website?
No, Rotary Club Central, you get to that through My Rotary.
Okay.
So my.rotary.org, and you'll have to log into rotary.org there. And then you then go to Rotary Club Central.
Yep, I can figure it out. Thank you.
Okay. And if you need help, I believe Naomi's willing to help anybody just reach out to her with questions. She may be a little easier to catch in the next couple of weeks than I am. I will preview a couple of things. The RI Board of Directors this spring apparently did have a discussion and come up with what they're calling 6 priority goals. The communication around this so far has been rather sparse. I haven't actually been given an official communication about it yet, but sometime during the course of this year, I'm told that they're going to make some changes to Rotary Club Central, and that we'll be coming back to you with more information about what those changes will be, what it means to us, and what we need to do specifically around the 6 priority goals. But I understand that there was a breakout session at the Singapore Convention about the 6 priority goals. So just if you want to be ahead of the game, you might just check that you have these goals in the set of goals that you're putting in. So one will be the number of members who will participate in club service activities. 2 will be contributions to the Rotary Foundation Polio Plus Fund. 3 will be contributions to the Rotary Foundation Annual Fund. 4 will be contributions to the Rotary Foundation Endowment Fund. 5 will be number of members in your club. And 6 will be developing an up-to-date rolling strategic plan. So you might just be thinking about, have you already set a goal that matches to those? And if not, you could go ahead and think about setting one now. If you don't worry about it. We'll come back to you later in the year when I have more specific information about what the change is going to be and how it's being rolled out to us. But that's a preview of coming attractions. Alongside that, I'm also told that there's going to be a change made in how we enter our project information. We've been entering that into Project Showcase, and I'm told that there are some changes coming this year to that as well. So for the next few months, I'm going to recommend that you just hold off on entering your project information into Project Showcase until, again, hopefully in the next few months, we'll get more specific communication about what the changes are and what they want us to do differently and what's going to be new in the system. So that's a preview of coming attractions, and that will test our ability to adapt in the middle of the year. That might be a test that they're giving it to see how are we doing at adapting. Okay, so that's goals, action plans, some changes that will be coming. I'll let you know as soon as I know what the changes are. Then club awards. There's been, I know, some confusion about club awards in the current year. Those of you who are current presidents, and even if you're not a current president, you probably wondered, why didn't we give out those club awards at district conference? What's happening? I think there was room for improvement in how this got communicated and rolled out. But it is where we're at today. You're probably aware by now that District Governor Mark did make a change in the club awards for this year to have them run through the entire Rotary year. So the club award submissions for the current year are not due until June 30th, so that your club can finish out the year strong and submit all of what your club has done through June 30th. And what I hear from Mark is that he's planning some kind of online Zoom extravaganza in late July, early August, so that we can highlight and announce the club awards across the district and celebrate with each other the achievements of our clubs and really recognize the clubs who have had a big impact in your communities, who have done other major achievements in the club award categories. So we'll be getting more information about that from DG Mark in the next month or so. Your clubs should have the forms. Your current club president, if you're not the current club president, your current one does have the forms that need to be submitted on June 30th for this year's club awards. So this is the first year for this change. Obviously, there have already been some glitches. There may be some more glitches as we kind of test this out and do something a little differently. My current thinking is that we'll follow a similar approach for the coming year to have it run through the entire fiscal year for Rotary. Because I wanted to have a little further discussion with some other people. I haven't given you the forms just yet for club awards for the coming year, but I'm going to try to get that to you as soon as possible around July 1st. And Naomi and some others have volunteered to help us get that ready. So very early at the start of the year, I will get you the club award information and expect that that's going to run through June 30th. But we will be adaptable. As I said, we've changed it this year for the first time in a long time to a slightly different way of doing things. So we're kind of watching how that's going, how's it going, and if we need to make some adaptation in the coming year, we'll do that too. Emily, I see you have your hand up.
Yeah, no, talking about awards, and I was looking at the award criteria I saw it the other day, and it talks about a club service committee, which I was a little confused about. What does a club service committee mean? What is that?
So in some cases, Rotary talks about club service as an avenue of service. When I joined Rotary, that was always called out as one of our avenues of service. And club service, I kind of describe it as some of the more administrative and sometimes some of the more fun things. And it depends on your club. But it's things like meeting setup. It's things like setting up social events for your club. It could be that you're responsible for the speakers for your club. Each club does that slightly differently, so I can't give you a blanket answer, but it's things that you do to help the operations of your club.
Is that kind of like what
And
the board does?
some clubs have a person or a small committee to do that.
Okay. We have such a small club. I think this sort of thing usually gets discussed at the board level. So I was getting kind of, do I need to set up a separate committee to do this? Because we're doing it at the board level right now.
Yeah, not necessarily. For a small club, you may not have a committee or even a person. You may just have those responsibilities divided up among all of you. But in a larger club, you might actually have a committee. Anybody else on the call? Do you have a club service leader or club service committee? Anybody? No. So Emily, you're not an outlying data point.
So I said our board does this stuff. So I'm trying to think, do I need, so we need is another committee.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
when I was in a larger club, I was club service chair, and that included speakers, meal price meals, extra events, entertainment, um, and so forth. It was like being a party hostess with the mostess.
Gotcha.
But it was a larger club.
Yeah.
We're also a small club, so everybody is on that.
And Mike put in the chat, that might also be the person who's entering stuff into Rotary Showcase about your projects. That could also be club service, getting the data entered into that system. And Patty, you're still on the call, yeah? Patty, do you do some of this for your club?
I just saw that chat. And we do, it's fairly informal. And actually, maybe 5 years ago, I think before COVID, we had what we called the club administrator, not a paid position, but that person, oh, I know, I remember he ordered the t-shirts and did many of the things that Carolyn was describing. So we're trying to revive that.
Okay. Calvin, what do you have your club service people doing?
Yeah, so in the past we had one chair or co-chairs, but for our new year, decided to kind of spread it out with 3 newer members, all 3 under age 40. And it's the whole idea of, new members want to engage in service and just kind of expand on that because they're also going to be our future leaders of our club.
Great. So Emily, hopefully that helped explain club service.
Yeah. I just wanted to make sure I didn't.
No, good question.
Yeah.
Good question. Okay, so let's, this is a great segue to, we are running a little over time tonight. If you need to leave, I understand, but this is a good segue to, do you have other questions for me, for the group? Things that you want to know that other people are doing or not doing? Any problems that you've run into that you want help with? I
Just
open
have a
the
simple
floor to any
question.
of you. Yeah.
A simple question again,
Yeah.
Chad, is do we have an AG yet?
Emily, you do not, but
Still do not. Okay.
that's a high priority for me between now and July 1st.
Okay.
I have a
You
question.
will. You will. And Katie.
This came up today. We were reviewing goals, and that is, how do we define leadership development programs versus district training programs?
Benson, would you want to take that question?
Yeah, they're basically the same thing. So in leadership development in the district, we're going to start a sort of a 101 level. It's called Kupumau, and it's going to be like six sessions once a month, starting in August. And then for those of you who have already been club president, who want to aspire to higher level work, maybe in the district or maybe someday potentially as a district governor, there's also the District Learning Academy, the DLA, and that starts this August as well. It's 8 sessions, and you actually become a graduate after that. So every club can, if you guys want to do leadership development within your own club, that's fine, and we encourage that. But if you want to follow what we're doing in the district, part of what we're putting out there is pretty consistent leadership development stuff all throughout the year, because need for leadership, top priority really in Rotary. So it's pretty simple, right? No leadership, no clubs, no Rotary. So you got to have leaders. So acknowledge all of you that showed up tonight to take that responsibility. I don't know if that answers your question, Katie.
Yes, thank you.
Good question. What other questions do you have for the group?
Hi, Ted, it's Emily again. I have maybe something that we can discuss later on. And I've talked to you a bit about what kind of committees and what kind of things you can do at the district level, but I really don't have a firm understanding of even how the district is structured. So maybe in a future session, we can do like District 5000 Leadership 101 and just kind of get a sense for how it's structured and what you actually do at that level.
Yeah, definitely. Let's put that on an agenda for one of our president forums in the coming year. We'll do
Okay.
that early in the year. And I will have some of our committee chairs come and meet with us at different times as well.
Yeah, Ted actually has an org chart. So it's pretty expansive, but you can kind of start there.
Yeah, I'll share that with you in writing in advance. And that will be updated on our website by July 1st as well. So our org chart and pictures of people will be on the district website as well. But we'll talk through that. That's a good suggestion.
Hey, don't feel bad. I'm still figuring it out, and I'll be district governor after Ted, so I'm terrified of the whole thing. It's pretty extensive, but it's partly because there's checks and balances and a lot of people, but everyone's working to do better for our community. So that's the whole aloha that we have in Rotary internationally. And take the district leadership academy classes. They're really good. And then consider running after being president and that you're qualified to be district governor. Oh yeah.
Oh.
Always recruiting. Okay. Thanks for letting me jump in on your session here. Thank you.
No, that's good. Yeah, kind of in general, I think of it, our district in kind of three broad categories. There are our assistant governors. So those are the people that each work with about 5 clubs on average. And they're your first resource in terms of questions, help, helping collaborate across the clubs in your particular area. So they're a very important function. I think in Hawaii, we have been at the forefront of empowering and using our assistant governors, partly because we're distributed across islands. And there are other districts on the mainland that are sort of learning from our example and catching up with us now in terms of the importance of assistant governors as a key resource for all of you. The second big category in terms of keeping our district going are our district committees. So I mentioned, of course, our membership, our foundation, public image. We have a youth service committee. We have this new environmental service committee. We'll have a vocational service committee. So those are committees that are resource people also for our clubs and to convene together with the people in your clubs who are leading those different areas of service to share ideas and best practices and to help us move forward in all of those different areas of service. There are also some ongoing initiatives that are sort of committees, like our mental health Rotary Action Group that Kathleen Merriam will continue to lead in the coming year. So people in your clubs that are interested in mental health will want to get engaged with Kathleen and bring that back to your clubs of what are some things that you can do in your club, just very practical things around our collective mental health. There's also at Rotary International calls it Girls Empowerment Initiative. I kind of prefer to call it Women's Empowerment in the US, but we'll also have a continuation of that. Arlene Estrella is going to lead that for us in the coming year. And we also have ongoing initiative around diversity, equity, and inclusion. The third big category of things that keep our district running are more what I call the administrative functions. So we have a district ombudsperson, we have a district treasurer, we have a district secretary, we have a district finance committee that Naomi chairs for us. So it's all the nuts and bolts operating things, just like you have at the club level. We have to do those things at the district level as well. So that's kind of the big picture of the categories, but I'll go through that with you in more detail at an upcoming forum. Good question, good suggestion. Other questions for tonight? Things you're thinking about to get ready for 1st of July? You know where to find us. If you think of a question after today, you know how to reach me, Naomi, your assistant governor. We're all here to help you. Benson, Nancy. Okay, so let's talk about upcoming forums. I do need to shift. We've been doing these on the second Monday of the month, and I have a conflicting meeting, and some of you do as well. After July 1st, there's another standing meeting that happens on the second Monday of the month. So I had proposed that we shift this to the first Monday of the month, but then I got a request seeing if another Monday might work because one of our clubs has a meeting the first Monday of the month. So can I just check with all of us who are here online? Would either would the third Monday of the month work for this instead of the second?
Fine with me.
Anybody have a conflict with the third Monday of the month?
Fine with me.
Okay.
And it's
Okay.
going to be the same time?
What time on Monday?
Well, earlier I had a request that we start these at 6:30, keep them a little earlier. Unless people want to make another revision to that, I would continue it at 6:30.
Oh, I have choir practice every Monday on 7 p.m. Is it possible we can start at 6?
6?
Yeah, I prefer it
Or
earlier,
5:30?
actually. 5:30
Earlier?
to me, and if you could stick
5:30?
to
Yeah.
5:30 works better with me because dinner and all of that, I would
Yeah.
rather get it done.
Yeah, I
5:30.
like that.
If you could
5:30 is
try
good for me.
to get it done no later than
I'm
6:30, that would be
Okay.
good.
I'm very flexible. I tend to prefer the earlier times myself.
Yeah. I think 5:30 would be the perfect time
Is
to
there
start it.
anybody who would not be able to do 5:30 then on the third Wednesday of the month?
Third Monday?
Wait, third
I'm
Monday?
sorry, third Monday.
Oh,
Yeah.
you were just testing us
Keep
for
me
listening,
honest
huh?
here, Marianne. Third Monday, 5:30 p.m.
Okay, third Monday, 5:30. I'm good with that.
Good.
I'm not seeing any objections. So hopefully that'll work for the majority of the group. And we will continue to record these forums for those who are unable to attend a particular one. So look for me to send you an updated schedule for these then for the third Monday of the month at 5:30 p.m. starting in July. Okay, sorry we ran over today, but it seemed like there were a lot of questions and discussion around our district grant deadline. So that was both urgent and important. So I wanted to make sure that I didn't cut that too short. So thanks for hanging in there tonight. And do reach out to any of us if you have other questions or help between now and the next time. And otherwise, let's adjourn for this evening. Oh, also, I'll be coming to a lot of your inductions. Some of you have reconfirmed that with me in the last few days. So I'll just reconfirm that with the rest of you if I haven't done that lately. Otherwise, see you all soon.
Bye, y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See
Aloha.
you all.
Good night, all.